Hello, teacher. Next, we are going to present our opinion or answer about the documentary of September 11. Our group is formed by Juan, Nicole, Blanca, and me, Brian. Juan uh, will give his opinion about the 7 question. He is the first. Juan, could the
Okay,
U.S.
Brian.
Air Force have prevented the attacks?
Okay. I think that it was very difficult for the United States Air Force to prevent that situation, since first they were not prepared for an attack of that magnitude. They never imagined it. The reaction of their aircraft carriers was very delayed. The United States has secured in base due to what happened in Pearl Harbor, but with their own plans that turned it into real bombs, they never thought about it.
Okay. What is your opinion about this question two? Were the Twin Towers deliberately demolished by explosives?
And it's a difficult. There were many warnings of attacks with the possibility of using aircraft with weapons. In 1998, the Air Force officers were warned by an attack by Al Qaeda. They wanted to hijack a commercial plane and crash it against important places in the United States. The intelligence of several countries report on possible terrorist attacks against the United States.
Perfect. And were some people forewarned about the attacks?
Countries like Germany, Russia, and England, through their intelligence, announced to the U.S. government about terrorist attacks with the possible use of aircrafts with weapons. 6 people were informed of the attacks by the time of the attacks. They were unavailable absent or didn't have the experience to make decisions. Uh, Dick Cheney, Vice President, Norman Mineta, Transportation Secretary, Darlene O'Brien, Air Traffic Controller, Michael McComin, FAA, Air Force, and the other people.
Okay, Juan. And first question, was the Pentagon really hit by an airplane?
Okay, it's very difficult to conclude that the Pentagon was hit by, by an airplane because, according to the statements of professional pilots, it was very difficult for an airplane to arrive in the horizontal position it did due to the size of the airplane and its weight. Since the simulator used by the terrorists for flight practice, it would not have been possible to prepare someone for this maneuver.
Yeah. And could the attacks have been prevented?
Without a doubt, after the intelligence warnings from countries such as Russia, Germany, England about possible attacks by the Al Qaeda group, the use of planes that would be hijacked and used to hit important areas of the United States. All the alarms were active to take necessary measures and control of people born in the Islamic State, who many want to carry about a special situation.
Was Osama bin Laden really captured and killed?
I don't know. According to official versions, Osama bin Laden was assassinated by U.S. Special Force in conjunction with Pakistani intelligence in May 2011. Discovered that was hiding in a bunker and that when he was called to the river to defend himself, and it was there that they killed him. But the American journalist Pulitzer Seymour Hersh denied this version, reporting that Osama was impressioned by the ISI since uh, 2006, was kept secretly prisoner so that he could not reveal the truth of the events present. See, see that with the knowledge of the Arab and American government. Until 2011, the death occurs, which was without any military operation.
Perfect. Was 9/11, that is September 11, caused by the American government on purpose?
Okay, yes. Important question. One of the stronger reasons for the United States to invade Afghanistan is the large amount of oil that exists in that country, as well as a large amount of precious metals and gas natural important resource for the US government. In addition, Afghanistan geography location allows the United States to monitor nuclear-powered countries such as Russia, China, India, and Pakistan. At the same time, that is manages the entry into Iran in case of a possible war with that country, managing to penetrate the country on two fronts.
Thank Juan for your answer. Now ask
Okay,
me, please.
okay, Brian. Brian,
Yeah, yes.
next. Brian, next. Brian, answer the following the question. What's your opinion of the question number one? Could
Okay.
the use air has could the use air has prevent the attacks?
I could say yes because that day, that is September 11, the Air Force of the United States was performing aerial exercises for military purpose. However, it wasn't possible because mysteriously appeared false signals on radars about possible hijacked aircraft, which made it practically impossible to know which reference point to go to. On the other hand, although the United States has been one of the countries with the best and most advanced military devices, the problem was internal. Well, I think so.
Thank you. What's your opinion of the question number second? Words the twist towers delivered demolets by explosive.
Okay, the explanation given by NIST to the fall of the tower is that the force caused by the crush of the plane weakened the metal that held the tower, but however, engineers have denied this explanation, demonstrating that it's impossible for this to happen, since the fire that was there was not enough to weaken the matter. So, the only explanation for the way the tower fell is that there were controlled explosions. This is in addition to several witnesses, including firefighter and police officers, who claimed to hear explosion even before the plane crashed.
Thank you. Next question. Were some people forewarned about the attacks?
I think yes, of course. In fact, some intelligence agencies certificated warned to US intelligence service 2 years before September 11 about the probability to be attacked for hijacked aircraft. In addition to this, according to the anti-terrorist Richard Clarke, had important information about the attacks. He said that despite having this information, its disclosure was prohibited.
Thank you. Next question. Was the Pentagon really hit by and explain?
It's a little difficult, though no, despite the fact that the official version stated that a commercial plane was the one that hit the Pentagon. The evidence found in the structure of the building doesn't match the description announced in the media. In the Pentagon, the holes supposedly caused by the plane are not congruent with the model of the 757 aircraft. In addition, there is no trace of the significant parts of the plane such as like the wings, the engines, and the tail. On the other hand, if the plane had fallen on top of the Pentagon, it could have caused more damage, but did not happen. Why didn't the terrorists collide the plane into the center of the Pentagon from above? Well, maybe because it wasn't really an airplane, but explosives.
Thank you, Brian. Next question. Could the attacks have been prevented?
Of course, it could. They have information important about possible attacks. The CIA, for example, it had hidden evidence. The same evidence has prohibited during all the time.
Thank you, Brian. Next question. Was Osama bin Laden really captured and killed?
According to the American government, it said that Osama bin Laden died during a confrontation with the US military and his body was thrown into the sea after proving his identity. We create doubt about his death since the media never revealed photos or evidence of the act. Like always, the information never have been possible to provide.
Thank you. Next question. Finally, was 9/11 caused by American government on purpose?
The official versions of the US government about September 11 attack aren't entirely true, much less clear. I cannot discard the possibility that September 11 was caused by the American government on purpose. I think that they have planned the attack to can enter their military troops in foreign territory with monetary power and control intentions. They needed one excuse to do it.
Thank you.
Juan,
Blanca, please. The first question, Blanca. The US Air Force have prevented the attacks?
Yes, they could have been proved with the governor. We was really going to happen.
Okay, Blanca. Please, the second question, were the Twin Towers deliberately demolished by explosive?
Yes, it was any attack, control demolition. They placed explosives any edge of the structures of the twin towers.
Well, okay. The three question, were some people forewarned about the attacks?
Yes, some people were one. Other people were also called to work that day.
No more, Blanca?
No contesté más.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. And the fourth question, Blanca, was the Pentagon really hit by an airplane?
And it was with no hit by in the play in the with a launch missile.
Ready,
Yeah.
Blanca? Thank you. The fifth question, could the attacks have been prevented?
Yes, because the CIA knew and didn't say anything.
Yeah, Blanca. Okay, and the sixth question, was Osama bin Laden really captured and killed?
Yes, he will capture kilo on in the city pier. Yeah, in the city pier.
Okay, Blanca. He was a bad man, very bad. And the finished question, Blanca, please. Was 9/11 caused by the American government on purpose?
It was a plan to seize all 12 the megaliths.
Okay. The economy, the American. Yes, thank you, Blanca. Please, Nicole. Now,
Okay.
you. The first question, Nicole. Could the U.S. Air Force have prevented the attacks?
Okay, Luis, this is my answer to the question one. Attacks at the week before in the tooth play the Cornell House was Secretary of State and he called my on Saturday mornings and he started to relate big attack on December 7 before September 11, meaning money in the intelligence communicates the attack were on their way there. America believed that Saddam was implicated in the September 11 attack. El General Marks and Admiral Stark and dead. Finally.
Okay, Nicole. Yeah, the United States was information for many countries. Excellent. The second question, Nicole, were the Twin Towers were demolished by explosives?
At first, it was believed that two planets burned down. The two twist the tower, and it was an terrorist planets. Terrorist plans.
Okay, Nicole. Something they call the funky effect, the buildings. Okay. Three question, Nicole, please. Were some people forewarned about the attacks?
Okay. A German intelligence alert the CIA in the June Niaster terrorists were trying for him and kings. Britain word used to have been expected September 11, Al-Qaeda and kids. El presidente Bush categorized warning expect multiple airline. In kinds 1 month before the September 11 attacks, there was in fact August. The President Bush was told August that Osama bin Laden with planets and attacks involved in kinds of used aircraft in the tide.
Okay.
Finally.
Excellent, thank you. The next question, was the Pentagon really hit by an airplane?
He saw 50 minutes before the Pentagon was he displaces the episode around 92 in the morning in the after the Pentagon was is rather than gone to the command center and take charge of the situation. The Secretary of Defense should to the helping hands on the Pentagon is Halson, as if Roosevelt did feel the need to be informed about what was happening to his country under attack. The Secretary of Defense on site. The burning building, which inside the Pentagon for 30 minutes, we could not find him as youths are began to go it. The walk into the door of the National Door Commander is 1992 in the morning and after the Pentagon. Finally.
All right. Thanks, Nicole. The next question, please. Could the attack have been prevented?
Okay, covering it at honest official stumbled on important information in Japanese attacks the intelligence Washington Captain Alan Kerr recognizing the misuse plan for building right but is persisting attack. The United States deserves that if Japan commits the first over there is not argument about what mean the use naval plan to defend Pearl Harbor should not and cannot be excused on.
Okay,
Finally.
Nicole. On the notice of June 21, 2001, where is British intelligence reports of possible terrorist attacks with the uses of airplanes, where they have to start taking drastic security actions.
Yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
yes, yes. Of course.
Okay. Such as the missiles located in the White House. Then, Nicole, was Osama bin Laden really captured and killed?
This was captured on May 2. Is mystery. According to the United States government, he was shot is the left eye and DNI test was taken and he was thrown into the sea. Finally.
Okay. And the finished question, Nicole, was 9/11 caused by the American government on purpose?
Okay. Spring of in the system was blinkered according to intelligence. The US administration has always maintained that the needs in attacks were on the dirt why about they did, but specific information. And then I did there was another attack planning a need there was another attack coming and the obvious question behind that is what wanted to the something about is the with has no specific information. It was no specific as to the time, no place, manner of attack, no specific tree involving really domestic operation or involving what happened. Osvelit, the city airline and so forth, there were no warning seen, and I am word of the good indicate this state of operation in the country. All these statements are false. Enjoy conversation in current September 11 has revealed that in Congressman Kurt Wildon developed said the press note of the information on the uncommitted attack with was intentionally withheld the has attempt to prevent the American people from now win in the fact about we could have the prevent 9/11 September and the people are finally. Thank you, Luis.
Okay. Thank you, Nicole. Let's start with a general summary of the terrorist attacks on September 11. Yes, everyone?
Let's do conclusion, right?
General summary of the terrorist attacks
Okay.
for everyone.
For example, I think I conclude there are more questions than question about September 11. And today, the world still doesn't not know that really happened in the terrific event.
Yeah, right. My summary it was used for commercial aircraft in this attack, were for places hijackings in 3 different places: Pentagon, Chancellorsville, and World Trade Center, Tower. In this attack, 9 hijackers were in charge of taking control of 4 commercial planes to carry out the terrorist attack. And the American Intelligence Service was informed 2 years before of the September 11 attacks. On the other hand, the United States government was previously informed of the terrorist attacks, where they were informed of plans to hijack planes and suicide pilots to high strategic points in the country. The American government was already warned of this situation, and surface to air missiles were installed in the White House to prevent any attack. But finally, there was no quick reactions to prevent what finally happened. At the time of the attacks, there were only 4 F-16 aircraft ready to face any suspicious situation, but didn't receive specific orders until after the attacks. Many questions arose as to why, despite knowing about the suspicion of attack, why there was not enough fleet of alert planes for any situation, because the control towers report on the non-response of several aircraft pilots and the road chance over the skies of New York, Pennsylvania, and Washington. No quick decisions were made by the Vice President, Commander of the Air Force, Secretary of State, and other decision makers. On the other hand, there are many gaps in terms of the fall of the Twin Towers, since according to engineering experts, it's very difficult that they would have fallen just because of the crash. There are doubts about whether he had placed explosive at the base of the Twin Towers that would make the completely collapse. Like the reason that the United States had not informing and having an excuse of something similar to take Afghanistan against the group of Al Qaeda. There was a clear interest in this, but at the price of so many dead Americans. The generals in charge of security and decision making were not attentive in case of any news, or simply had no replacement in their position in their absence. Something that for many was truly suspicious. Other questions arise since the FBI report failures in the cell phone communication system, but despite the fact the passengers were mad and 30,000 feet height, they were able to make calls informing their families on the hijacking of the planes. It could have prevented the collision of the planes with the towers, the Pentagon, and even the White House long before. This is my summary, this activity. I don't know, Brian or Blanca, about the...
For me, conclusion, for me. I will conclude it. I will conclude it in general. For me, attack of the Twin Towers will be at Mr. Time. Alert that you have to evaluate and respect life about world. I learned that you have to evaluate and respect life about world. Since we are September with must remember the dirt on. Thank you.
Okay. Blanca, please. A summary this activity. The summary.
No tengo
Blanca,
más.
haven't conclude.
Don't worry, Blanca, don't worry. Ryan, please.
So, like said before, I conclude there are many questions than answer. Then today, the people, in fact, the Americans don't know what happened that day.
Okay. No more. This is activity from Tax 2, the English 3 course tutor. I hope you like this topic. Brian, Blanca, Nicole, and me, Juan Carlos. Thank you, teacher. Thank you, classmate.
Thank you.
Bueno, ahora, ¿cómo le voy acá? ¿Le voy a dejar de grabar?